Just to give you a little bit of background on me, um, prior to working at Bast, I was in clinical mental health as a counselor for 5 years in a crisis center. So today, when I was talking with Beth, I was like, I actually might be one of the closest people on our team to an actual user that we're going after because of the type of like the domain expertise that I have and also not having a technical background. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through three user journeys. The first one is going to be the admin user. So this is essentially going to be the organization's control center. What you're going to see here is you have the ability to control and see the system health through any single CAT, which is a conversational assistive technology in your organization. So today we're going to focus on the trauma-informed CAT. If you kind of take a look here at this usage analytics, you'll be able to scroll down and see all the different types of questions that people in your organization are asking. And when we get into this configuration, it might make a little bit more sense what these categories and clusters are doing. But what you'll see here is the different breakdown of topics and how people are asking these questions. You can scroll down, you can see, is trauma evil according to Hannah Arendt? You get the answer, you get to understand um, where this comes from in a knowledge base and the type of agent that it's using to answer it. One thing I like to point out too is that I got to find it in here, this out of scope area. I think is like very important for the organization because it also helps the admins understand what types of questions are being asked that aren't in a knowledge base. So it helps to identify gaps. We're going to look at the knowledge bases, but right now we're just going to click into this trauma-informed care knowledge base. So you'll go in. What it does is ingest this information and it essentially like breaks it into topics based on what is in a PDF or the type of data that the organization provides to it. So this might be like an SOP, an instruction manual, a user guide, whatever type of high quality data the organization thinks would be valuable, they can put it in here and it'll be able to kind of break down everything that you would essentially see in there and puts it into the topics. And one thing that these knowledge managers, which is kind of the secondary space, they can do is they have the ability to edit this area and annotate it. So if we're seeing something that's missing or has a gap in it, you might be able to come in and say, okay, types of trauma, we need a new keyword here because we're missing a keyword that people are continuously hitting, but they're not finding the answer. So you might come in here and change something, add something. And like this just comes from the domain experts. And so I think a valuable piece here is that you don't need a big AI team. You just need someone that has the expertise to go in and to do that. Our conversational assistive technology, they're not just one agent. So when you click in here, you'll see this one has 10. These are all different agents that have like one specific job. So any input that goes into the AI or the CAT, it's going to be put against a different type of agent that's going to do a specific thing. This is essentially how we use an agentic framework to get a reasoning strategy. So you might want to say, okay, you're going to do a greeting and then you're going to search the web. And if the web doesn't come back right, you're going to go to your knowledge base or vice versa. And so you can control this area to help the end user experience and how that reasoning strategy comes out. This is where we're going to be defining the behavior that the CAT has. So you'll go here. I have the trauma-informed care CAT. I've given it a description. This is to help people understand trauma-informed systems of care. You can see here that mine is to teach the basics, and it's to help people understand. You can do traits, communication styles, tones, problem solving, and you can tweak this and change this as you go. So this is not concrete. If you're noticing something on the front end side is not behaving the way you want it to, you can go in and say, oh, I need to, change the communication style a little bit, or I need to go in and add an additional step for the problem solving. And then you can also do an ethics area as well. For mine, I did a limitation that it can't give medical advice and always encourage people to seek professional help. So what happens when you do that is you take your CAT, you add it a knowledge base. So we're going to give it the trauma-informed knowledge base. You give it whatever agent pool that you made. I'm just going to use the default one that has the 10 agents. And then you're going to come over to the front end side. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. We're going to click on the trauma-informed care CAT. And I'm going to just say, hello. All right, hi there, I'm the trauma-informed care CAT. I'm here to help you understand trauma, blah, blah, blah. You pop this open and you'll be able to see why this answer happened. So because I gave it a greeting, it sent it to a greeting agent. Let me kind of get a question out here. Let's see. What is trauma and how is it different from stress? Great question. Let's break it down. Here's what trauma is. Here's what stress is. How do we get this? So you'll be able to see that the handler was the knowledge base. So it was able to map that question to a topic in our resource. You can see if we were to flip back over to the admin side that it falls under the concept of understanding trauma. And you can actually see the different records and where they come from. So page 19 or page 113 and different chunks of the information. So I think one thing that we were looking at earlier is, how do other LLMs compare to this? And for me, as someone that used to work in the mental health field, I was like, oh, Claude's actually doing a pretty good job. ChatGPT, maybe not so much, but where did it come from? Right? Like we gave it that information, but I can't actually say for sure. I know it came from this PDF. So this reasoning trace helps you to understand.
He does have this in Claude. And so what we did to just sort of make it as fair as possible is we put in the knowledge base, same knowledge base, and then we gave the same instructions. Mm-hmm. And now when she asks the question or when she gets back the answer, Meredith, what was your very first response?
What is trauma and how do I know I'm not just stressed out? And I think like my first response when we tried this was I was like, I mean, good response, but like why so much information? So
and
much.
Where does it and where does it come from?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm thinking about this idea of LLMs keeping people for as engaged as possible for as long as they can. And let's see, what did this one, super short and concise and to the point. And that's because of the instructions that we gave it. I'm pretty sure I was like clear, concrete, don't do too much at once, ask before you move on to another topic. And this just can't do that. Or
everybody always says that we need world models so that we can give the AI systems the context to understand against. What we do is, in addition to building the world model against a knowledge base, which is your crawl before your walk and running, we also give you the ability to engage with it. And that is what makes us super different, because we have the experience where we went into Craig Hospital and the nurses are like, no, they should use this term, not that term. We're like, okay, great. Here you go. Now you can edit your own knowledge base, edit your own ontology, edit your own world model. This is the beginning.